Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the presentation of the OPM3 Portugal project results. I'm going to show you the results for the information systems cluster. On the analysis of these clusters, we identified different results achieved by large and small organizations. The criteria to define the size of the organizations was that if the organization had more than 100 employees, we identified them as large organizations, and if they had less than 100, we classify them as small organizations. So I'm going to show you now in this presentation the results for the large organizations. Moving on to the results. Here on the first slide of the results, we have the results for the process ownership and for the initiation phase, the two processes of the initiation phase, and all the processes of the planning phase. Starting with the process ownership, we have 100% achieved by this organization, which means that's clearly identified an individual or a group of individuals who are the owners of the processes and the project management. On the initiation phase, the results are not so good. An average a result on the developed project charter with the 55%, and a low result on identification of stakeholders. Moving on to the planning phase, starting with the developed project management plan. This is extremely low result, meaning that this is a process that is very important and should be taken more in consideration, and should give more attention to this process. But then again, after this process on the quality requirements, definition of scope, and the creation of the WDS, they achieved very good results. The defined activities is perfectly implemented with 100%. The sequence of activities and the estimation of the activities, they are also achieving good results near of the 100%. Also, almost 100% was the development schedule process. The estimation constants is not so good, as well as the diminution of the budget. The quality is not planned. There are not processes to plan the quality on these organizations. Also, the development of human resource is not planned. The planned communications, there are some signals that there are some practices that are implemented on these organizations, even that are a low percentage of 21%. Also, the risk management in the organizations of large dimension in the information systems in Portugal, they are not taking too much attention to the risk management area, as the risk management process was 0%, only 7% on identification of risks, and also 0% on the analysis as well as on the planning risk responses. The last planning process, the planned procurements, it achieved a good result with 90%. The best practices achieved, we achieved here four best practices on the definition of the activities. We also achieved 3 best practices on the estimation of activity durations, and on the development schedule, and also 3 on the planned procurements, and you can watch it with more detail on this slide. So I'm moving on to the next slide, which shows the monitoring control phase as well as the closing phase at the end. Starting with the first process, we have here 69% on the direct and management project execution. It's a good result. On the perform quality assurance and the acquisition, development and management team, there are no implementation of best practices in this area. So the management of the project team should be more into consideration for the large size of the information systems organizations. We have here a good result with 90% on distribution information. The stakeholder expectations are not being taken into consideration by these organizations, as they only achieved 5%. With 100%, the conduct procurements shows again that the procurements area are being well implemented and taken into consideration by these organizations. The monitor and project control also near the 100% with 95%. Also, in the implementation of integrated change control is being made with 100%. The scope is being well verified and controlled with 69% and 81% respectively, and the schedule also achieved a good result with 95%. The costs, again, also related with the procurements, are well implemented with 100%. The quality control, again, the quality processes are in fact showing us that the organizations of information system organizations are not taking into consideration this area. The report performance is being made as 79% shows that the most of the organizations are taking into consideration this process. The risks, again, with 0% as in the planning phase, we showed previously that the risk is not being planned, and here in the monitoring control also could not be implemented. On the administration of procurements, we achieved here 100%. And the two processes for the closing, we have low result on the first one, the closed project or phase with 38%. This process should be implemented fully by the organizations, which is not being made, as we can see by the result. As well as the closed procurements is also important, but here we have a result of 93%. So these organizations are closing the procurements very well. On the best practices, we have here that we achieved a total of 56% in the project management area, which is a really good number. As we can see that some best practices are related mostly the best practices are related with the procurements area. Moving on to the portfolio management process results. Here we have clearly red marked on this graphic, which shows that most of the results are 0%, and two of them are between 1 and 29%. So these are actually not good results that we achieved here on this domain. We have large margin to improve here for sure. So on the first process, we have the process ownership. As previously on the project management area, we had 100%. Here we don't have clearly a person that is known by the organization that is clearly the one who owns the process, the one who suggests to be implemented, or the one that improves somehow the processes that are already implemented on the organizations. Here processes related with portfolio. Also, there are some signals of practices in authorization of components. Components here, remember, here we relate components with projects. So authorization of the projects to be implemented on the portfolio are somehow being made, even with a low number, and the remaining processes of the portfolio are marked as 0%, which shows us that a score of 2% was achieved by the large organizations in information systems, and none best practice was achieved. Moving on to the last domain, the organizational enablers. Here on these results we have good results. We didn't achieve any with 100%, but still the majority of the results are marked on light green, which are good results, and we don't have any red processes here, so they're all more than 30%. Starting with the policy and vision with 61%, strategic alignment and resource allocations around 60 and 70%, as well as the management systems. Sponsorship and organizational enablers with 71 and 74%, also a very good result. Competency management with 63%. Not so well the evaluation of the members with 58% in the individual performance appraisals. The project management training with 93%, showing the importance of the project management in these organizations. The importance of the organization to implement the project management training to their members, so that the processes are being well implemented and the projects can run more effectively. The OPM communities achieved 48%. The OPM practices and methodologies with 60 and 87%, achieving a good result. Not so well the OPM techniques and the project management metrics. They achieved 59 and 41% respectively. The success criteria is well defined with 75%. Not so well with some margin to improve. We have the benchmarking processes and knowledge management and PMIS with 42 and 43% respectively. At the end, the score for these organizational enablers at these organizations is 62%, and we achieved here 8 best practices on the related with the policy and vision, with the competency management, with the with the project management training, OPM methodology and techniques, as well as the project success criteria. Here on this slide, I'm showing you the best practices achieved by the information systems organizations of a large size. You can watch them with more detail, as here are represented all the best practices that are achieved by the most of these organizations, and it shows a clear picture of which the processes are being implemented by them. Here I'm showing you this OPM3 Summary, which is the summary of these organizations' results. The project management overall maturity achieved is 13%, but you should look at the bottom when it says the OPM3 global score is 45%. Here is the continuous score. It means that all the practices and the methods of project management are taken into account, even if they don't achieve best practices, even if the processes are not well implemented. Everything that the organization does, it counts. So the 45% is the value that we should look for. The OPM3 continuous score for the different domains are 55% for the projects, only 2% for the portfolio, and 62% for the organizational enablers. For the project phases, we have a standardization maturity with 38%, 43% for the measure, and 36% for the control, and 17% for the improvement. Here we should take attention on these values, as we can see that the measure maturity is higher than the standardized maturity, which means that some processes are being measured without being well standardized. This means that is putting an additional effort by the organizations by measuring what is not well standardized. In fact, the organization should standardize well the processes first, and then measure, control, and improve. For the scope of 300 best practices possible, these organizations received 66%, which is a good percentage, as 22% was achieved by these organizations. Here on the last slide, I'm showing you the results in the graphic, the results of the maturity at the different stages and the different domains. On the portfolio, as you can see, we have 0% at all the phases, which is not, as we said before, the portfolio has a large margin to improve. The program has 0%, but this domain was not included on the scope of this project, so was not evaluated. And then the project, we have 33%, achieving 38% on the standardized, 43% on the measure, 36% on the control, and 17% on the improvement. The organization enables achieve 11%, which still has also some margin to improve. And with this, I finish this presentation. Thank you very much for watching, and have a nice day.